Hi everyone, I'm Sean from Attack Panic and welcome to this lesson on how to disempower panic attacks and phobias. No matter how long you've been suffering from panic attacks, no matter how severe they may be right now, this protocol, method or attitude if you like, is the answer to completely stopping them in their tracks. The protocol or attitude that I'm talking about is the Panic Attack Eliminator, and I discuss it at length in Building Blocks 3 of Attack Panic. I'm going to walk you through a real life scenario from a question that was sent in to me recently, and that question was, how do I deal with panic when I'm in a supermarket? Now before we go any further, it's really important that you have read Attack Panic, that you have absorbed every morsel of information in Building Blocks 1 and 2 and Building Blocks 3. I'm going to be asking you to do things that you've been avoiding for a very long time. I'm going to be asking you to walk straight into your fear. And you won't be able to do that unless you can develop the belief, faith and courage, not only in yourself, but me as your coach and also in the Attack Panic program. If you haven't read Attack Panic, it could be very difficult for you to do this piece of work. Before I walk you through disempowering panic through our scenario, I just want to review the panic cycle. I want to explain how the panic cycle starts, how it escalates into panic, and how you consciously can either feel that panic or disempower that panic cycle. You will recall, because you've read Building Blocks 1 of Attack Panic, that the panic cycle starts with an initial uncomfortable sensation or an intrusive thought. How or why the thoughts or sensations turned up in the first place is not important to disempowering panic. What's important is that you use this protocol. How and why they turned up in the first place is dealt with Building Blocks 4. Right now we have to deal with the fact that they're here, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But first we need to understand this panic cycle. So they've turned up, consciously you notice them, and based on prior experience and memory, you react with fear and resistance, and you want these sensations or thoughts gone. All that does, you are consciously fueling that cycle, you increase your anxiety levels because of your conscious resistance towards them. As your anxiety levels rise, more adrenaline is released, intensifying the sensations and the thoughts. As they intensify, you consciously fuel them, feed them with more fear. That increases your anxiety levels, more adrenaline is released, your sensations and your thoughts become more intense, pushing up your anxiety levels even more. This is all fueled by your conscious reaction towards those mild irritating sensations and thoughts in the first place. So you are consciously fueling this panic cycle. If you continue to fuel this panic cycle with fear and resistance, your anxiety levels will eventually reach the extreme level, and at this level you will experience an overwhelming urge to get the hell out of wherever you are. It's called the fight or flight response. In an appropriate situation where there was a real fear or a real threat, that's called the fight or flight response, and it's perfectly normal because you need that to be aware, you need that to run, or you need that to fight to survive. When you're in a situation where there is no fear, it's completely inappropriate, the fight or flight response is called a panic attack. The Panic Attack Eliminator will teach you how to consciously switch off or stop fueling the panic cycle. So no matter where you are in that panic cycle, you can consciously stop fueling your anxiety. And if you can do that, you can disempower your panic whenever you want at any stage. So quickly recapping, your Panic cycle starts with initial sensations and thoughts. How or why they turned up is not important right now. What's important is what you consciously do at that point, how you consciously react to those sensations and thoughts. And based on, if you have an anxiety condition, if you suffer from panic attacks, you will be reacting with fear because based on previous memories and experiences, you don't want them there, you want them gone. But all that is doing is creating more anxiety. You are convincing your subconscious mind that you're in danger, so it will turn on the sympathetic nervous system. It will protect you, fueling your anxiety. Okay, that's really important that you understand this cycle as we walk into this real life scenario. So the answer then to disempowering panic is how you consciously react to your sensations and thoughts. You know that they're harmless because you've read building blocks 1 and 2. You know you're not in any danger and you know you're not going crazy. But it's how you consciously react to those initial thoughts and sensations. In fact, it doesn't matter where you are along the panic cycle. At any stage in the panic cycle, you can turn that cycle off. In other words, you can switch on the parasympathetic nervous system through your conscious attitude. And it is an attitude of non-resistance. It is an attitude of fearlessness, which is the exact opposite to how you have been responding. So how you consciously respond to these sensations and thoughts determines whether they're going to spiral out of control, culminating in a panic attack, or whether they're just going to hang around as just that, harmless, uncomfortable, or annoying, but harmless sensations and thoughts, or whether they escalate. And that comes down to your conscious reaction. So the panic attack eliminator is made up of 5 steps. And you know these 5 steps intimately because you've read building blocks 3 of Attack Panic. For the purposes of this lesson, I'm just going to summarize those 5 steps. The first step is observe. The second step is demand more. The third step is detach from any outcome. The fourth step is to accept whatever happens. And the fifth step is to get on with your task. What a mouthful, 5 steps. Even when I'm sitting here nice and relaxed, it's a mouthful to remember and to recite. And I wrote this stuff, let alone what you would be like in a hot moment. It would be very difficult, if not impossible, to remember all those 5 steps, in a hot moment. All that's going to do is get you even more anxious and frightened. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap these 5 steps up into a mantra. A mantra is simply a few simple words, but those simple words will trigger those 5 steps. So when we use our conscious choice on how we want to react, we use a mantra, and that mantra puts us into that state where we can disempower panic. So let's just do this. You walk into a supermarket and the usual suspects turn up. The intrusive thoughts, all the uncomfortable sensations. Now they may have even been there before you got to the supermarket because you were anticipating and trying to resist and stop a panic attack on your way to the supermarket. But anyway, let's say that you've walked in and there they are, the usual suspects, the sensations, uncomfortable sensations, and the intrusive thoughts. The first part of the panic attack eliminator is observe. What does that mean? Is exactly that. You have noticed these thoughts, these uncomfortable sensations as you walk into the supermarket. And that's okay because that's part of it. That's part of the panic attack eliminator. This part 2 of the panic attack eliminator is demand more. This is the critical point in you being able to disempower your panic. Okay, the panic cycle is starting to grow because you have noticed those initial thoughts and sensations and you're reacting with fear. The anxiety levels are starting to rise, adrenaline's being released, intensifying everything. Okay, so step 2 is to demand more. This is the critical point that decides whether those sensations just hang around as harmless but annoying, or they escalate. So demanding more is about your attitude right now. You understand that you're not in danger. You understand that these sensations are annoying but harmless. You understand that you're fueling these sensations into a panic attack. Demanding more is an attitude of non-resistance and fearlessness. This is called paradoxical intention. You are doing completely the opposite to what you think you should be doing. It's completely the opposite reaction to what you have been doing prior to this situation, prior to this moment. Demanding more means you walk into that supermarket, and no matter what, you make a conscious choice to accept whatever happens. This is where the mantra comes in, because in a hot moment you don't want to be going, what do I do, what do I do? You want a mantra that says something like, based on your personality, do your worst, I'm staying right here. This is with the knowledge that you are not in any danger, that you're going to be fine no matter what. No matter what, I'm going to be fine. You must make a conscious choice right now, and you can. You can make a conscious choice to allow whatever is going to happen, to accept being okay with not being okay. So let's look at this. The thoughts and sensations have turned up. Before they escalate into panic, you have a conscious choice how you want to react. That's it. That is the critical point of whether you have a panic attack or not. Those sensations have turned up. We cannot stop them. What you've been doing up until now, you may not have been aware, is you've been trying to stop those sensations. They've turned up. It's too late. It's like shutting the gate after the horse is bolted. It's too late to get rid of the sensations, but you don't have to. All you need to do is change your attitude. Choose a conscious response of fearlessness and non-resistance. What you will do is you will stop the panic cycle. You won't stop the sensations, but you don't have to, because they're irrelevant. It's just adrenaline in your body, okay, creating those sensations, the same sensations that you have when you're exhilarated. That's really important that you understand this part, because this is critical to turning off the panic cycle. You can't stop those sensations, but you can stop sensations and thoughts developing into panic, and that comes down to step 2, demanding more. Demanding more is completely paradoxical. It completely turns the subconscious and everything on its head, because it's completely not what is expected. What you're doing is you're saying, stuff it, do your worst. I'm going to stay right here. No matter what happens, I'm going to be fine. Now that's a mouthful to say in a hot moment. That's where the mantra comes into play. So let's recap. I'm going into the supermarket. Those usual suspects are turning up. Ordinarily, I would freak out, because I consciously go, oh my God, I want them gone, I want them gone, go away, go away. That's never going to happen. That's going to make you more anxious. So in this case, you've observed. That's the first part of the panic attack eliminator. The second part is to demand more, and that is the critical moment where your panic dissolves or escalates. And you use a mantra because it's simple and it puts you into that state. So your mantra must be something like, do your worst. Whatever happens, I'm going to be okay. It's a very, very short mantra that encapsulates steps 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, don't say this with your fingers crossed, like, okay, Sean, I'm going to walk in here and I'm going to practice this acceptance. This whole idea of non-resistance and acceptance of whatever happens. But if it gets too much, I'm going to run, because you're not fooling anybody. You have to do this with complete acceptance of being okay with not being okay. That's the kicker. That is the deciding factor whether you have a panic attack or not. So your mantra is steeped in accepting whatever happens. Whatever happens, I'm going to be fine. Or mantra could be as simple as Barry McDonald would say, so what? Do your worst. Dr. Reed Wilson would say, do your worst, whatever happens, I'm going to be fine. Charles Lyndon would also say, do your worst. Whatever mantra you have, it has to be steeped in non-resistance. That's the kicker, and that's what disempowers your panic attack. Step 3, detach. Step 4, acceptance, is all part of that mantra. Detaching is, I'm going to be fine no matter what. Acceptance is, I'm okay with whatever happens. So steps 2, 3, and 4, demand more, detach from whatever happens, and accept any outcome, is rolled up into that mantra. And it's just a phrase like, whatever happens, I'm going to be fine. And no matter what happens, you're just going to stay there and accept any outcome. That is a non-resistant attitude, a conscious, non-resistant reaction to those sensations and thoughts. What it won't do is it won't escalate. It won't fuel that panic cycle. What it won't do is get rid of the sensations. I can guarantee you're going to get more anxious as you think about this, but that's okay because you're thinking about it. But I can also guarantee that if you walk into that situation that you fear using the panic attack eliminator, using the mantra that encapsulates demand more, detach from whatever happens and accept whatever happens, using the mantra that encapsulates that, I guarantee that you will stop the panic cycle. That's all you have to do. It's just scary because you've never done it. I'm asking you to do exactly what you've been fearing. And that's going to take some faith and some courage, which is why you must read Attack, Panic and Understand Building Blocks 1, 2 and 3. So what would probably happen when you're standing in a queue, in the line or walking around the supermarket, those sensations will come and you go, do your worst, I'm staying right here. If you do that with complete faith and acceptance and being okay with accepting whatever happens, then your panic won't increase. The sensations may or may not go, but it doesn't matter. They're harmless. What's important is whether you're feeling it, and it'll subside. Your panic will not escalate. Now, a couple of minutes later, the sensations may come back because that is part of a habit. When they come back, same scenario. You observe and then you recite your mantra, which encapsulates the demanding more, detaching from any outcome and accepting whatever happens. Your mantra is, do your worst, I'm staying right here. Do that with complete conviction. That's your conscious choice that you have and that you can make. The 5th step in the panic attack eliminator is getting on with your task. Turn your attention onto whatever it is that you're doing in that supermarket. You can do that. It's completely your choice. You just need faith and courage that the panic attack eliminator will work, and it will work every single time. We deal with why and how the sensations and intrusive thoughts turned up in the first place. That's dealt with building blocks 4. Let's quickly recap. You consciously decide whether your intrusive thoughts or sensations start and stay as a mild irritation or whether they spiral and catapult out of control. You are consciously in charge of that process, and you consciously either fuel your panic cycle or you disempower the panic cycle. You can't do anything about the sensations. They've turned up. It's too late. But you have control over your conscious choice of how you want to react. The panic attack eliminator, Using the mantra will completely disempower and turn off the panic cycle if you use it. But you must be prepared to accept whatever happens. That is a non-resistant attitude. Accept being okay with not being okay. You have to do this. I can teach you and I can prepare you as best I can, but unless you do the doing, you will never heal yourself and overcome panic attacks. You have to walk straight into that which you perceive as fearful. You can't learn anything without exposure. If you truly want to overcome your panic attacks, then you must walk into those panic attacks and let them do their worst. You can do this because you understand the panic cycle. You understand that you're not in any harm and that those sensations and thoughts are completely harmless. You have the panic attack eliminator to help you consciously stop fueling in the panic cycle and disempower it. And you use a mantra that encapsulates all those steps so you don't get frustrated and even more anxious because there's so many steps to remember. You just walk in there, your mantra, whatever it is for you, and you go, so what? Whatever happens, happens, and I'm staying right here. That's all it takes. Might work the first time, it might work the 10th time. Whatever, you must keep practicing and persevering with this.